we're going to discuss the part 6 of Buddhanussati. All right, so just to recall, Buddhanussati is the recollection of the powers of Buddha, and we want to make that power of Buddha as yours. Okay, we have been discussing about how we do it. Now, we watched this a little video clip about chakra and meditation and how you gain the power, right? Thomas, read this sentence for us.
You must gain balance within yourself or to bring balance to the world.
As a human being, we always want to be a superhero. There's no one in this class, anywhere out there, whether you're a child or adult, right? There's no one, oh, I don't want to be a superhero, never. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to be acknowledged. Everybody wants to be the one. Everyone wants to be the one helping the others, right? So, but before you help the other, so that's what the guru said, right? Before you can bring balance to the world, look around us today. Is the world balanced? No, what's happening right now? So they're fighting, killing, right? Whether you look around you, in your city, right? In your home, what happened at your home? You fight with your mom, your dad, or your mom and dad fight, right? Is it balanced? No, right? There are homeless people around you, police sirens, right? People killing. So we always want to be the one who want to balance the world. But here, as Guru said, you must gain balance within yourself before you can bring balance to the world. If you can even manage yourself, how can you manage others, right? You yourself is struggling. You can't take care of yourself. How are you going to take care of others, the world, right? So very important that you take care of yourself first. You make sure you're balanced inside you.
You have to make yourself like calm, and you have to make yourself happy before you spread happiness to someone, anybody else.
Very good, Thomas. It is right. Like in Buddha-Sutta, before you send loving kindness to the others, you're going to send loving kindness to yourself, because exactly that's what it said here. You're going to gain balance within yourself before you can bring balance to the world. You're going to gain loving kindness within yourself before you can bring loving kindness to the world, right? Okay. So let's really look at these chakras in a little bit more detail. We're today going to talk about the base chakra, the very first chakra, or the earth chakra, right? The earth chakra, Kathleen, could you read, please? You are? The Guru said, you are concerned for your survival, but you must surrender those fears. Now we talk about survival, right? The earth chakra, which is here, the very bottom here, the one that is touching to the ground or the floor, wherever you sit. So that's the earth chakra, the basic needs in our life. That is our survival. Now that survival, right? You are scared of you're not having the basic needs, even though you may not be right now, but you will know it when you are grown up. So what do we need for survival? Food, shelter, water. Okay, so let's look at it. So now, how do we master that first chakra? In other words, how do we make sure that we don't have to worry about our survival? How do you get rid of that fear of survival? How would you do that? William.
Let go of them fear, like keep them out of your head.
Let go of that fear, keep them out of your head. Okay, that makes sense, but how? Let's say, for example, I'm 18 now. My father kicked me out of the house. You're 18, get out of my house. Right? So I grab my backpack. Where do I go? So if I have such kind of father, just meditate and say, that fear. It's just fear in my head. Get rid of it. Will it happen? No. Conquer your fear? But yes, you're right. Your answer is right. But the question is, how do you do that? Concur with the thoughts? All right, anybody? Don't be scared. How? It's easy for you to say, don't be scared, baby. Oh, honey, don't be scared. But I'm scared. I don't have food to eat. I don't have a car. I don't have money for gas. I don't have a house to, whether it's really cold outside or really hot outside. What are you going to do? Okay, so you see, it is really easy to say things. Oh, get rid of it. But how? How do we do that? Okay, so now you might want to say, well, use Noble Eightfold Path. Yes, but how? Right? So Noble Eightfold Path tell us that right speech, right action, right livelihood, right heart thought, and so on. But how? How would you do that? What is right speech and right action and right livelihood? So that you can get rid of this fear of your survival.
The two orange ones. So the right livelihood, if you want to survive, you have to get the right livelihood. Right.
But how?
Like the right mindfulness, like if you're mindful and then you can build a house.
So just because in your mind, I want a house, I want a house, I want a house, and then the house will follow you. Boom, you got it, right? No. So you see, that's a problem with a lot of Buddhists, even a lot of people. Just because you pray, something automatically, it will never happen. If you believe that, you're not a Buddhist, right? Because we Buddhists do not believe in free stuff. We do not believe in creator. oh, just pray to God, God will give it to you. That. We Buddhists do not believe in that, right? So these Noble Eightfold Path stuff are just your guidelines, right? So, but you gotta know how. What is this pyramid? Anybody knows what this pyramid is? Yes.
Is it like I don't remember much, but my teacher showed me this before.
Okay. That's a food pyramid. This is not food pyramid for sure. Yeah, you do learn food pyramid, but this is a different pyramid, right? So when you look at it, the basic is what? Physiological needs, your needs. You breathe in. Food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. Look at the color. Is that a coincidence? Now, this is not the Buddhist, right? Who made this? God? No, there is no such thing as God. No Buddha, no center, right? This is made by a psychologist called Maslow, very, very famous, okay? This is called Maslow hierarchy. Let me go back. So Maslow hierarchy. Now, what do you see in the background picture? People. Who said what? Homeless people. Look at this, these guys. Homeless people, right? A disabled person. Different types of people, right? Some people may be rich. Some people may be looking for a job. Some people are homeless. Some people are looking for food, right? So that's the basic is your physiological needs, right? Then go up one level, employment, your family, your home, your property, your social stability. Then you go up, love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, sense of connection. Now, if you don't have any food to eat and any place to sleep, do you worry about family and friendship and stuff? No, right? So there is a well-known saying: if your stomach is empty, leave from the back door. What does it mean by that is, if you're hungry, there is no such thing as love or sex anymore, because you're fighting for your survival. So this is the Maslow hierarchy. Now, one level up, you have self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, need to be a unique individual. Then the highest level is self-actualization, morality, creativity, right? Experience purpose, meaning, and inner potential. Now, those of you who are creative, you're already up here to a certain level. You're keeping a good morality. Of course, nobody is static always here. There are times that you're worried about this. There are times that you're here. There are times that you're here, right? But your foundation needs is very important, right? Now, that you might think that, oh, that sounds pretty scientific and Western, right? Now let's look at it together. Okay, you'll notice here on your left side, here we have the Maslow's hierarchy, which is physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization, which is this that we just talked about. Yeah. Now, on your right side, you have the chakras that we practice. Now, remember, just because you're a Buddhist, just because you like chakras, if you just sit and meditate and don't go to school, don't do any work, do you think these will be solved? No, right? So these chakras are nothing but the same thing as these. So you have root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat. Okay, so this, the root chakra and physiological needs is the same. You understand? Now, this left side is what you will learn when you go to psychology studies, when you want to become a psychologist, psychiatrist, even medical school, because when you learn about your life, that's how people cope, right? Your left side is where you learn in Western part of the world when you go to school. Now, this is even before the time of Buddha, okay? So they're all the same, right? The root chakra and the physiological needs, the basic needs, the root, the basic. Sacral chakra, safety, right? Solar plexus, your love and belonging. Heart chakra, your esteem. Now these, throat and third eye and crown chakra is your self-actualization. Okay, so whether you see this or this, pretty much the same. Okay, so you can always judge yourself. Where am I right now? Right now, you don't really need to worry this at all. Your physiological needs. Anyone tell me? Raise your hand if you need to really worry about it today. Not really, unless you're homeless, right? You're homeless, then you really need to worry about food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Except breathing. Fortunately, the air is free unless you have asthma or some kind of disease, right? But other than that, physiological needs, you're fine. And there's safety and security, you're fine too. Why? Because you're young, you're fairly healthy, most of you, right? Employment, well, you're employed because you're a student, you're going to school, you're employed as a student, right? Your family and social stability, there. Okay, so right now your problem is up here where the yellow is. You worry about your friendship, your family, intimacy, sense of connection, right? So that's why, that's where your iPhone and iPad and phone and tablets and computer come. You need to connect with people, right? You want to be connected. So that's where your problem today is, because these two are supported to you by your parents. But you still have some fears, right? What if my parents die in car accident today? Is it possible? Yeah. Are you prepared for that? Not really. Right? So that fear. Fairly low, right? And hopefully they have their life insurance. And if they suddenly die, they will leave some amount of money to you through their life insurance, right? But if you're not sure, then ask your mom and dad when you get home, Mom, you have life insurance? If you suddenly die in a car accident, are you going to leave you some amount of money? Is there something wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that, right? So yes, we as a Buddhist meditate to good karma, but that's for your next life, right? But we also need to prepare physically for these, right? Yes, Thomas?
Gas being red or
so in this country, definitely, because transportation is required basic needs, right? So if your basic need prices are going up, then of course you need to worry about it. Now, most of you in this class or online, you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, well, yeah, gas used to be $3 a gallon, now $5 or $6 a gallon. Well, your mom and dad may cut down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go to the monastery every week. Now gas is so expensive, I can't go to the monastery anymore. I'll just use Zoom and I'll just attend from online. I'll go on a trip before, but we're not going to go on a long trip. We'll just go to the local trip. Now those changes you can adjust, right? But you don't really need to be too scared just because the gas price is a little higher, because it's not going to affect your survival. Okay. All right. So what I want you to understand is that the Maslow hierarchy and the spiritual belief of chakras are pretty much the same. Okay. So that basic needs of physiological basic needs, the root chakra, blocked by fears, right? How do you know you have fears? What are we fear about today? Well, so Trump is a little late now, right? So before, some of you will be scared of, oh my God, I don't like him. Some of you like him, right? Some of you like Biden, some of you don't, right? So all of us are scared of coronavirus, right? The COVID, that's why it's the biggest one, right? So I'm sure you have seen pictures like this before, right? How do you call this? So the biggest one is the highest fear you have, right? Well, not anymore today because of the immunization and shots that you had, but let's imagine last year, right? So the COVID was the biggest thing, right? Then at that time, the Trump, some of you that, oh no, you know, if Trump is going to get another presidency, we'll be in trouble. Or some say, oh no, I don't like Biden. If Biden get it, I'll be in trouble, right? So even that is not that big here, smaller than Trump. So people are scared of Trump than the death look like, right? So yeah, you have a lot of other things, lies, the government, shootings, Democrats, right? Musk, crime, right? Rhetoric, media, the president. So there are so many things. So what are you scared of? What kind of fear do you have? Yeah. Well, because some people don't know what coronavirus is. Some people heard about only COVID. Yeah, you're right, because you're smart. So, okay, let's look at it. How do you know you have fears? How do you know you have fears? Let's say it again. Because you're scared, but how do you know that you have fears? When you think about it?
You think about what I can do, like the possibilities of what this person can do.
So for example, some of you might not know, never worried about it before. Like, what if my mom died? What if both my parents died today? A lot of you never thought about it, or don't want to think about it. Because why? Because you're scared. Because you're scared, you don't want to think about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to hear about it. But should we know our fear? We should, right? So let's look at this fear chart. So now I want you to look at, this is something likely to happen, okay? But it is under your control. So this slide, I want you to look at it from this standpoint. We call it worry matrix, okay? So is that a worry, or is that something that you need to prepare? So because there is a very thin line. Some of you are worried for no reason, right? Some of you might be thinking, what if that little bullet from Russia came all the way to Sacramento and hit me? How many of you worry about that? No one, right? But I believe that there might be people who worry like that. Yeah, definitely. So this, the left upper quadrant, is something likely to happen, and it is inside your control. This right upper quadrant, unlikely to happen, inside your control. Now this one, the yellow one, the left lower quadrant, likely to happen but outside of your control. This right lower quadrant and likely to happen outside of your control. Okay. Now, which one do you think you need preparation? Which one you think you gotta let go of? So, which one should you let go of? The right one. Look at it. Unlikely to happen. The chances that it will happen. It could. Even if it could, do you have any control over it? No. So look at the example. Martian is going to invade Earth, right? So chances that the Martian will invade Earth, almost zero. But let's say if they do, what are the chances that you won't survive? You don't know, right? You don't know. So should you worry about this? And oh my goodness, I'm going to buy ammunition and weapons, and I'm going to dig a big deep hole, and I'm going to hide that. Should you do that? No. Should you let go of that? Yes. Right? What about this? Likely to happen, but outside your control. Oh, there will be a big earthquake in Japan today. Right? Oh, some people in Ukraine are going to die. Well, you send your loving kindness, but other than that, lose your sleep, not go to school, not study just because you're angry and upset about Russia invading Ukraine. No. But I'm talking about you here in this country, right? Yes, you don't agree with whatever Russia is doing. Yes, say no to war, but you should not be losing sleep over that. You should not be not going to school or not eating, not sleeping because of that, because it's outside of your control, right? You can write about it, right? You can go to demonstration, that's all you can do, okay? But let's see. Okay, so for example, there could be earthquake in California. We live in earthquake country, right? California is famous for earthquake. Do you have any control? No, you don't, right? Let go of it. Like, I don't have any control. I'm not going to prepare anything. Or what should you do? You should prepare because there's a good chance that there will be a good big size earthquake. So when earthquake hits you, you're going to know where to shelter, where to hide, where to duck. You're going to know where the food is, where the power supply is, where the electricity is, right? So you go find your parents, right? If this happened when you are in school, if this happened when you are alone, right? So those are things that you don't have control, but it's chances are low, then that's something that you should be not worried, but prepared. Now, if you are preparing for these, it's a worry. So remember the difference between a worry and a preparation, because a lot of people are confused between those. Okay, even your parents, Buddhist, because they have no clue. Now, this one, earthquake in California, hurricane in Florida, snow in Minnesota, accident on camping trip, right? That's for your parents. You need to save money for retirement. You need to buy health insurance for illness. We're going to die, you have a will. Now, those things, should you be prepared? Definitely you have to, right? If you're not prepared for earthquake, if you're not prepared for accident, if your parents are not prepared for their retirement, if you don't have health insurance or your parents do not have health insurance, if your parents do not have a will, then they are not well prepared, right? So you gotta ask this question to your parents. You're gonna ask this question to yourself when you get older. Okay? A will is a legal paperwork that tells survivor or a lawyer what to do with your money or your house or your belongings when you die. Okay, so we really need to understand the difference between worry and preparation. Now, if you don't know that, you will just be having a plain fear. Okay, the plain fear doesn't help you. Okay, but if you're worried about earthquake, if you're worried about your death, then your retirement is not a fear, right? It is preparation. If you're worried about, if you're preparing for this, there's not a worry, this is preparation because it is under your control. If you're worried about these, that's what you need to let go of. Okay? Okay, so at your age, a lot of you may not know that you're having fear. How do you know yourself? Or how do your parents know that you're having a fear? How do your teachers know? How do I know that you're having a fear in you? Okay, so if you're little, sometimes you have some type of fear. You don't know what that is. But instead, you feel great when you're close to your mom or dad, your brother or sister, or at your age, maybe your best friend. Okay, a certain age, maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend. Now, you become clingy to your elders or someone that you can cry on, the normal. Okay, then you know there's some fear in me. Sometimes you do know that, sometimes you don't. Okay, you just want to be held by your mom or dad. Okay, that's why whenever you're little, you cry. What do your parents do? They grab you, they hug you on in their arms, and sure, you feel great for no reason, right? You don't even know what the fear was, but you just want to cry. You're scared. All right, your mom or dad hold you. So now if you are, or if you see a kid like that, or if that happened to you, hey, there's a fear in me. What is that? Okay. Sometimes you're restless and fidgety. You just can't keep still. You're gonna be moving. Okay. Look at some of you right now, shaking your knees. Why? Because either you've fallen asleep and you need to pay attention. You need to concentrate. If I fall asleep, the teacher will be yelling at me. I don't want that. Then you're shaking your legs, shaking your knees, right? Or some of you will be playing with your fingers. Okay, so that means you're restless, you're worried, but you don't know what you're worried about. Okay, so that's another reason. Okay, some of you will have to play games. Some of you will be sitting with your crossed leg like this. Okay, that's your fidgeting. Now, just by looking at that, I don't need to talk to you, right? Because I understand the human psychology. I have a little more advantage than you because I'm a doctor, right? I learned human psychology and sociology. So just by looking at a kid or someone, I know that person is insecure. That person is fear. Some people will just have stomach ache for no reason, right? You'll see a lot of people. Some of you might have it if you're stressed because there is a big test coming tomorrow. Suddenly you have cramps in your tummy, right? So sometimes some of the teenagers might think that you're having your period, but you are not having period, but you still have cramps, right? Because you're worried, right? You're not happy. You're having some issue with your friends. Then your stomach hurts, your tummy hurts. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now, thank you, Dad. Thank you for answering for me. And display changes in eating and sleeping habits, right? Some of you, if you're stressed, you can't sleep anymore, right? Either you eat less or you eat more than you should, right? Some of you, if you are upset, angry, not in peace, you keep on eating for no reason, especially chips, because it just makes you feel good. The more you eat crunchy food, right? That's why you like potato chips or some type of chips, right? You keep on eating for no reason. Is it because you're hungry? No, you're not hungry. You just ate, but you keep on eating. Now, just by looking at what you're eating, how much you're eating, right? Your parents or a psychologist or a doctor will know you are stressed or not. Okay? So when your parents tell you, hey, why are you eating this chip for no reason? They know more than that question, right? They're telling you, hey, son, why are you stressed? What's fear in you, right? Because you know you shouldn't eat that junk food more than just a little bit, but you're eating the whole bag of potato chips like this, okay? You know you're stressed. Some of you will write negative thoughts. Some of you will be upset for a little tiny thing. Oh, why is my food cold? Instead of throwing temper tantrum. Your mom told you, hey, honey, go put it in the microwave. What's the big deal? But you still go to temper tantrum, and you start screaming, yelling, and stomping your feet, right? So that is not because food is cold, but because of another stress. Let's say someone bullied you at school. You're scared of that guy. You couldn't do anything. But when you get home, you can bully your mom. That's what you do. You complain your mom about food being cold, right? Don't do that. Now that means that you have fear in you. Okay, so know your psychology, right? Know your mind, know your fear. Okay, have bouts of unexplained crying. Some people will just cry for no reason. Tears just come out. Okay, sometimes you're stressed and you watch a little sad movie and you start crying. Well, it's not because the movie is so sad, but because that stress in you actually go in line with that sad movie and you start crying. Struggle to concentrate. Some of you just can't study at all, right? That because you have fear in you. So these are just a few examples, right? There are a lot more, right? So play piano like instead of smooth, slow. Okay, you pound on your piano, right? You play your guitar like crazy, right? Not with the musical note anymore. So many other things, right? So whenever you have that kind of irregular activities, know yourself. You're having a fear. Now, if you have that kind of fear, your first chakra is gone, your base is gone. You're going down.